Like, so all the other little bits went in the soup, and it was like, it was proper good.
Give him, there's one that looks really nice that's under there.
Yeah.
So I'll save that for like the weekend or something.
Oh,
Later tonight when he eats loads.
Yeah.
We've got cookie dealers coming.
We've got.
He makes out that he doesn't eat them.
No, he doesn't. I do.
I really don't, mate. Like, I genuinely have.
Out of when I stay with him, I probably have like one every day.
We're hated by them anyway.
They blocked me on Instagram.
You ordered them in my name, right?
No, I ordered them in my name this time.
So they're going to spit
The last time I ordered them was the last day.
What? We haven't said anything wrong about cookie dealers, have we? We've just took
Reese
out of
Reese has just basically said, I think they're overrated. And
no. And I also said that they're silly, that they're like.
Yeah, he says that, but then he eats loads of them.
No, but he doesn't. I eat all of them.
You've bought a lot in the past. You two have spent a lot on them.
I have.
I've not spent a penny.
I have for Sanaya, mate.
I would say that I eat a good 65 to 70% of the cookies myself.
Oh yeah, I'll have like
that's not that much. If you're buying like 15, 20.
No, we don't
buy that was the one occasion.
Yeah, that was because it was like Sanaya's diet was wrapped up and she was happy with them.
Exactly what we take the piss out of.
No, mate, I don't binge on them post show.
He's you know the ones that we got for Valentine's Day.
I haven't had a single one.
You're in podcast. Sam, you can get all this in as the behind the scenes bit talking about cookies.
No, I'll have like if it's like an
go on, show the listeners.
I made some cookies, and we're gonna eat all of them.
Now.
Are you giving me and Shannon?
It's going to be the food challenge.
Imagine we just like at the mall, we just hey guys, we just.
To be fair, that would be a good video. JP would love it.
Well, I did say to Reese, because I thought these were going to turn out like cookie dealers. I was like, we'll give Finn a cookie dealer and one of mine.
We weren't recording the audio, but I mean, if you want to put that in,
do you want to redo it?
No, you don't need to redo it.
Okay.
There are things on there, but anyway, ciao guys. I won't be here by the time you're done.
Okay.
Well, maybe I might do some work.
We'll be done by like 7:30.
See you in a bit.
Cool. See you later.
We're good.
Let me see. I'm always looking fit. Yeah, we're ready. Mate, you know when we do the 3 people, I need to stop sitting in the corner because you know the one with Tim. You could not see me. I was a floating head. I was wearing all black, and the mic was like this.
All black.
No, the mic was like this. You could just see like my eyes.
We need to find a way of
situating it. That's if I'm not being tight and not if I actually spend some money on the podcast studio. Scared to spending it too much on some nice fucking cookie obsession.
Exactly. Fuck. I was thinking this morning, like for some reason in my head, I thought my goal for the podcast is to be like the most well-known and the best British bodybuilding podcast that there is.
Okay.
How far off that are we?
British podcast, what bodybuilding like orientated? I'd say. Who have we got? Who does a
the beautiful struggle that Jay Davis does? You know, Magic Eye.
Yeah.
I don't know how good that is, but I know that he's got a decent production.
Yeah.
Obviously because of who he is and the fact he's obviously into stuff like making it look good and sound good.
Fancy. Yeah.
You've got like
Revive Stronger.
Yeah, we're not gonna.
But I feel like that's
it's a different. And the thing is, that is more like American. I was chatting with Steve about it, and he was saying he was like, my audience is the American audience.
All of the guests he gets on are American.
A lot of his clients are American.
Yeah. Who else do we think who does regular? Not in the game. I haven't done one about you.
They don't do them anymore. No. You've got Jermaine and
Jay's
head bodybuilding.
Off the script, is that what it's called?
Off script, yeah. Get your mic a little bit closer, because when it's just us two, you can make the audio a little bit crisper, can't you?
Yeah. Off the script or whatever, off script. Any other?
What was the one that TM Cycles and Bridgman and Brightman did?
Oh yeah, I remember that one. I can't remember the name, but I remember.
And then you've got Bridgman's, which I don't think he still does.
No, I don't.
That was really good.
Though. Yeah, considering it was just him. Yeah, considering it was just him. Like I used to listen to.
I remember back in the day, I was in Egypt. You know, when I went to Egypt with Shannon, I was listening to that, the Muscle Mentors podcast, and AJ's like Teen Muscle Radio.
Oh yeah,
and like. Mate, the amount that I've got through on that holiday, I was loving it. It was like
they that was like the prime time of like podcasts.
Yeah,
now
I felt like I learned like loads. Yeah, now it's just us taking the piss. Yeah. Right, are we cracking on?
Yeah, sure.
Sam, you can put all that in as behind the scenes if you want.
Yeah. So like skip it and do like little sketches. You
know, to be fair, Sam said he was going to like come and help set it up and that.
And charges
an extortionate amount.
Extortionate amount just for him to be here.
No, you know, what would be good is like. B-roll. I love B-roll. So like that.
Yeah.
Those.
Yeah, get some
those
like,
photos up, and then we can have little breaks. You know, like so after we've like done a given topic, we can then it can be like on. We're just basically copy and stick to football.
Yeah.
So stick to football. Should we change the name to stick to bodybuilding?
I haven't. Yeah, stick to bodybuilding is actually quite. Mate,
we don't. We haven't
got enough money to get.
Yeah, that was stupidly expensive, wasn't it? Right, you ready?
Yep. Let's get cracking.
Sam, this is clip number 1. Yes, guys, welcome back to the Once You're In podcast, season 3, OG episode with myself and Reese. We've just been chatting, and we've said that our goal as a podcast, just for some reason it came to me this morning, is to be the number 1 like UK or British bodybuilding podcast. So we've already kind of spoken about it, and I'm assuming Sam's put a bit in there.
I think it's like
it's massively achievable.
That's not an unrealistic expectation.
But we need to put more into it, as we've said before, and we need to film more frequently.
Yep.
I'd love it if, let's say, and we said this last year, but it was difficult with me prepping. We need to do like show reviews. Yeah. So, for example, like let's say on a Monday, after we've both been at a show at the weekend, we film on a Monday night and we chat and we get it uploaded by Tuesday or Wednesday, because people want to see that. People want to go, oh, what happened at the PCA show? What happened at the UK FBA show? Because I didn't get a chance to go, or what were their thoughts on it? Like, I thought we'd chat today about the Arnolds because it's topical, but there's no one doing that. Yeah. And I said this last year, and it's been in my mind.
Men's physique, who does it for like every show?
Yeah.
But it's just men's physique.
Exactly.
Which is
and he does well.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know who it is?
Yeah, Macca follows him and watches him a lot, doesn't he?
He beat Connor.
I mean, I couldn't give a fuck about men's physique, so I don't watch him. But
mate, you should. You're way better. You're a pretty good men's physique guy.
Yeah, I'm a shit bodybuilder. Yeah. Although I've got those squat shoes now.
Yeah.
And mercurials. Heel elevated mercurials. I actually just got my old mercurials and put Shannon's heels in them.
Okay.
Underneath.
Yeah.
So that's what they are. They're not actual.
Did you get? Could you personalise them?
No, I didn't.
FK7?
I made them myself. I actually used to have FK17 on my Nike IDs.
Yeah, because you didn't get 7 because you weren't good enough to have the 7.
Mate, I was too good. I chose my number. I was that good.
17.
I had 17 because of Nanny.
Yeah, I remember that actually. I think Josh Crocker mentioned Nanny's number, and I was like, you guys remembering that number? That
was the era of Nanny being like, he's
one
good.
of those streets won't forget sort of players.
He was good.
Yeah,
and he scored that goal. Was it against Portsmouth? No, it was against Tottenham. One of his first goals. It was like literally we just signed him. I think I was in an airport or something. I was travelling, and I saw the goal, and I was like, Jesus Christ! Like, who's this? Like, he just smashed it. I think it went like through the keeper's arms. It was like, it was a good goal. So yeah, I had my mercurials on today. We're just back from legs.
Post legs. We got physio tomorrow. So
yeah, how was the session?
Sound? Yeah, really good. Pretty good. Back to full volume for me, which is nice. Like I feel good. The deload was nice. It was like, one of those deloads where it's like it's not long enough to the point where you come back in and you feel detrained, but it's not short enough to the point where you don't feel fresh. Like I was coming back to the gym, I've done 1 full rotation now.
5 days, wasn't it?
Yeah, 5 days worth of rest, which for me, I think, unless I'm absolutely smashed, 5 days seems to be that, like, 5 days, devolume session or 2, and then back to it. Because, like, since then, it's been, like, really good, like, feel, like, really full. Like, the last few days have been class. Today was really good. Tried a new stance on the leg press, which was brutal. Like, feet as low down as possible, heels off the pad. I put a story up saying, like, can't wait for somebody with no quads to comment saying, your heels should stay on the pad, bro. But, yeah, no, really, really good, to be fair. And to be fair, like, this last week's worth of training, like, I feel like we're in the best group we've been in a long, long while. It's definitely since prior to both our preps, I'd say.
Only in the last few days.
No, I more mean this year.
Mainly just based on not going on holiday all the time.
Yeah. We're both actually lesser fatigued guys. Hopefully you can tell because we've both recently gone through deloads. Finn had like a fucking month deload.
I didn't. So I basically had 3 devolume sessions.
Can I interject?
No.
I feel like you went, because devolume seemed to be like, for some reason this year, the new in thing. Like, I feel like they used to be popular. Then it was like, devolumes are shit, they don't work. And then now it's
we've always preferred devolume.
we have always
said that.
However, this year it's been like a lot of after a certain period of time, there's not going to be a benefit to a deload, so do some devolume sessions. And that seems to be a bit more of the trend. But then also I feel like you get to a point, or you get past the point where devolume sessions, no matter what you're so below the threshold of recovery that it's like you would have to literally devolume for like 2 solid weeks, which you
still
did.
like almost difficult to tell coming out like from like post show, because it's almost like obviously
you
I'm
ride
not,
off the high of just feeling a bit better in general.
I've got no like, there's no diet fatigue of course anymore, there's no like prep fatigue lingering, but because
you're
I'm
still susceptible and
mate,
mentally you don't
like,
understand, like you will feel trashed, but you'll feel trashed, but you'll feel wicked because you're not as trashed as you have been before.
And you still think like, well, I shouldn't feel like this because I'm not doing as much as I was. I'm not doing 20,000 steps. I'm not doing cardio every morning. Like, why do I feel like this? I should feel great. I'm on more food. Like, but my training's a lot better. Like, look at my training now compared to where it was at the end of the prep. Like, as you'd expect, it's a hell of a lot better. But I basically ran, I think I did 3 D volumes, and then we had to move our split around because of the Conte shoot. So I did 2 normal sessions, and then I felt ill. So I was like, oh fuck, I'm getting ill. Then I was all right. I basically had a normal rest day, and I was like, fingers crossed I wake up feeling all right. I did. I felt sound. That was when we had then the Conte shoot, because I was like, I'm getting ill the day before. Did the Conte shoot, trained pretty much as normal because we were doing the shoot, and I felt all right. Trained as normal the next 2 days, and then I was like, I feel pretty battered again. Then I did 2 more D volumes, and I was like, right, I need to just take some time off. So that's why it was like it was. It wasn't like I'm just going to do more and more D volumes. But I did want to extend the meso, and I did basically, because like I said to you when I had my client meet up in Cheltenham, I was like, I'm feeling pretty battered.
Yeah, mate, that was the 25th of Jan.
That was like that was ages ago.
So that's like 5.5 weeks ago.
But like 3-4 weeks of those were really really good. Because I just dropped my volume down and I stopped doing like some extra bits.
But mate, week 6 you need to deload.
I know
they don't do that anymore. That's not a thing. It's just length and partials, and like...
week 6 you do length and partials.
Oh, really?
Week 6 you do 1 less length and partial, and your fatigue goes, and then you come back and you do all your length and partials again.
The sad reality is that actually could be a thing,
mate. It'll be like in a year's time. It'll be like, oh yeah. So week 6 I just didn't do any of the LPs, and I didn't do any. What else did they do?
No, I didn't do any shortened. There's a mid-range.
No, I only did the shortened.
Okay.
So there was no stimulus. I just did shortened range work for week 6 to drop off all fatigue, and then I went back in. We take the piss, but we do. I did LPs today. I love LPs.
Yeah, we both love LPs. But we've done LPs for ages.
I even love IPs.
IPs?
Integrated
partials. Fuck. Yeah.
And I love my mercurial shoes.
So, yeah. Legs today, normal week. When was your first session was Wednesday, Monday, wasn't it? So
yeah, so I had a deload Wednesday. Thursday, sorry.
Yeah.
So I took Sunday and Monday off. Because I was like, okay, I'm feeling pretty trash. I'll take 2 rest days. I'll train Tuesday, Wednesday, which was upper and lower, and then I'll have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. And the plan is like for myself, like one thing I like told myself that I was going to do is whenever I have a deload, I'm going to make sure that I like either see my family, go and see my sister, spend time with Shannon, go on a weekend away. Like I'm not just going to have a deload where I'm like last minute I tell Shannon, oh, I'm deloading, and she's at work all week. Like I'm not going to do that, because why would I? Like, I'd rather spend some time with her.
When the best deload was when you had your pre-workout meal in prep, and then you
AJ. So I had my pre-workout, and I got my check-in back from AJ, and he was like, "I'm really sorry, mate, but I really want you to deload like from now." He was like, "I know you won't want to." He was like, "But
meanwhile, I've had my pre, waiting for Finn."
He was like, "But you need to deload like based on all of the metrics." He was like, "Please deload from today," and I was like, mate, I've had my pre-workout meal. And he was like, don't worry, just don't train. And I messaged Reece, I was like, I'm not allowed to train, mate. I'm sorry. But the thing is, like, I was... Like, that's quite good that I listened to him. You know what I mean? Because like, I think a lot of people would be like, oh, fucking hell, I'm going to go train.
Some would just go and train and be like, hey, mate, I haven't listened to the check-in, or just listen to it now, but I've already trained, you know?
Which, I mean, wouldn't have been the end of the world.
No, mate, it's one session.
I wouldn't have buried myself. No. Like, I think I was already pretty buried. But yeah, that was, good times. Yeah. But no, I had a really nice deload. And like I say, I sort of told myself that every time I deload, I'm going to give Shannon a bit of notice. Because you can obviously tell when the signs are, like, creeping in.
Yeah.
So that's when you
go from having sex once every 6 weeks, once every, like, 14 weeks. And she's like, oh, this is different.
And then on the deload, you have it all the time because you've got loads of energy. Yeah. So that's what happens, yeah. But no, I was like, so Thursday was a normal rest day. Friday, we went to the cinema to watch Dune Part 2, and I wasted 3 hours of my life. And apparently that's a really bad take, because everyone's been messaging me like, hey, mate, I really like the film. Good for you.
Good for you. I didn't enjoy it.
I didn't enjoy it.
I haven't watched it. I didn't watch the first one. I don't have enough time.
About opinions.
I don't want to watch a Netflix. I don't want to watch... if I've not seen the first one, unless it's like something that I'm like, I really should have seen this, or I know the story of,
Shannon keeps saying we should watch the first one to try and like make it better, but I'm thinking, well, what if it's just as bad? Then I'm just wasting another 3 hours. So I didn't really enjoy that. But I saw Jill. Do you remember Jill that I used to work with? So she's an older woman. She worked at the cinema, and like I got on really well with her. God knows. Like we were like best mates, and she was like 60 odd, and I was like 20.
Fair enough.
Yeah, we got on really well. She was proper sound. Yeah, she's a legend, mate.
Gilf.
I took her
on a date.
I took her rose on Valentine's Day when me and Shannon went to watch Madame Web.
Okay.
And she wasn't there, so I was gutted.
Yeah.
And then I went and saw her. Obviously, well, I went to the cinema. I didn't even think she'd be in, but she was in, so that was nice to see Jill. Yeah. I had a good catch up. But yeah, then Saturday I went to see my sister, my niece and nephew. Went to Matlock Bath. You ever been?
No.
It's like
Is that the lake bit that you were walking around or what? Like?
Yeah, it's like a seasidey bit.
Okay.
It's kind of like a seaside town, but obviously not a seaside, it's a lake.
Yeah.
It's all right. Like, there's not a lot to do there, but it's good for the kids. Like, there's the amusements and stuff. But I was like...
Is this the sister that is Sam with you, or is this one that thinks you're a dickhead?
Nah, she thinks I'm a dickhead, but not
well,
really.
So that was... So she's cool with you now. She's a bit... Oh, he's a bit...
She's cool with me anyway. I still haven't addressed it. Can't be arsed. I've left it. I've let it go. She doesn't think I'm a dickhead. She thinks I'm abusive to Shannon.
You need to say context to that, because people are going to be like, what?
So, basically, during my contest prep, I went back home and I was in the bath watching Man United get slaughtered by Tottenham. I don't have a bath in my flat, so when I went home and I was like, "Oh, Mum, can I have a bath?"
You were better the first half. You were better, and the second half they did you like 3. Was it 3-1, 3-2?
Yeah.
I was on holiday.
They annihilated us in the second half. So I was in the bath and Thea. And so my sister's called Thea, and Shannon were just chatting. Like, they get on really well, so they were just catching up. And then, like, I think maybe the next day, like, Shannon was like telling me what they were chatting about, and it was basically just about like me being like a little bit difficult at times, and obviously struggling a little bit with like the prep, and just not being myself. And like the main thing was that in the evening, like, I would turn the bedroom light off, and Shannon wanted the light on while she was like sorting out a skin routine or whatever, and I'd be like, "Can we have like the light outside the room on?" And turn the bedroom light off, so that because I'm trying to get to sleep at like 8 o'clock at this point, so obviously I don't want the bright light on. But I wouldn't say it like that. I'd just turn the light off, and I wouldn't even think. I'd just turn it off because it's like, I'm going to bed now. So like Shannon told Thea that, and then like Thea thought that was like a massive deal, and then basically messaged Shannon like saying like, "Are you okay? That's abusive." And then obviously Shannon told me, she was like, "Look at this," and I like read the message and I was like, "What the fuck?" But obviously I didn't even have I just didn't have the energy to even address it.
Oh, in the moment I would literally be like, I do not give a fuck.
No, mate, but
I'd be so cold.
The reason I didn't is because Shannon was like, if Shannon didn't
responded,
if Shannon didn't tell
like,
me, or
oh my God,
but she was like, "Oh my God, she's taking it well out of context." Like, I was like, I'm the least abusive. Imagine me being abusive. Like,
no. But I've said this to you before. Like, abuse within a relationship, if you don't understand bodybuilding, on the black and white standpoint, if it's out of context, you'd be like, wait. So he gets in and he doesn't really want to talk too much.
Yeah, and
you watch a TV show and he doesn't say anything, and you'll laugh and say a comment and you won't respond.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
And you don't eat meals together.
Yeah, like that to the average individual. Like, I remember
that
so much in my first
yeah.
prep. I remember so many times me and Sanaa would watch something and she was having refeeds every fucking third day.
I hate that.
And she'd say she was having a refeed every fucking third or fourth day. Like, she had loads of energy. No wonder her glutes were fucking fat as anything.
God knows how she would.
Yeah, I don't know how she would. She must have, like, Tom
definitely gave some blowjobs.
Yeah, gave some blowjobs to the PCA judges. Diff Dan Wellburn didn't
This is why we won't be number one podcast.
Yeah, because we say too much shit. We need to actually start being nice to these people. So yeah, we love Dan and we love Tom, especially Tom. Tom's bald head, and Dan's actually got a bald head as well.
Tom trains at Prem.
Yeah, he does. But either way, Sanaa would mention something like when we were watching some TV show, and I'd like, the first time she'd say something, I'd go,
Yeah, like that's enough to be like, right, yeah, I'm a bit tired. And then
the second time she'd say it, I would respond, and then Sanaa in her head would actively be like, "Is he alright? Is he okay?" Yeah. So she'd say more stuff, and I remember literally being like, "Sanaa, please, can we just watch this shit? I don't want to talk about like some do you reckon she dies?
Yeah.
Do you reckon,
or like Shannon will like ask me something, and I'm like, well, you'll find out if you just fucking watch it. I don't know either. Yeah. But like now, obviously, but even now, I still find myself like, oh yeah, that's normal. Like if you've had a long day, which we do. Like I pretty much work from like 6 a.m. till like 8 p.m. For you, it's probably like 7 till 9. Like like we're working pretty much all day. So like that half an hour that we do get to chill.
Oh, I don't want to be. I don't want to be getting asked like, "What do you reckon happened to this person?" I don't care. Let's just
switch off a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's why, coming back to the deload, that's why I want to make sure that when I have those, that I actually spend some quality time with Shannon and with my family.
Also, I think as well for yourself, it's important to kind of like take yourself out.
Yeah,
your
it was
routine.
lovely.
A lot of it is mental.
Really nice.
Like physical fatigue is one thing, but a lot of it is like being like I always say whenever I go away and I come back just to my same laptop at the same desk, I'm like, yeah, this is cool.
Yeah, you enjoy work.
And even for a day or two, like if you were to go into do your work at a different place or just be in a different spot, like. I did
that a lot during prep, didn't I?
There's solace and benefit to just doing things like, and thinking, well, you don't want to constantly be going away. You don't want to be constantly doing something new, because I'd be like, you actually want to enjoy your routine. But eventually it gets to a point where it's like, you go into the gym, things become a bit more tough. Work gets to the point where like, I find like fatigue, especially training fatigue, it's like, and mental fatigue, you know, when you're like looking at the clock and you're like, it's going slow. Like, you know, like most of the time my mornings go to the point where I eat my first meal, and then I'm literally in the gym, and I'm like, where's the day gone? I literally feel like I've woken up like 20 minutes ago.
I do like that. You remember when I was saying like throughout prep, like I'd have like targets. It's almost like that carrot that you're trying to constantly chase. Like that's what training is like every day, isn't it? Because it's like, right, I've got to get this amount of work done before I go and train, because I know that after I train I'm going to be pretty battered. So it's just going to be like WhatsApps and form feedback. Like I hate doing check-ins in the evening unless I absolutely have to. Like, I never really do. So it's like, right, I've got 14, 15, whatever it may be, check-ins to do between now and then. That's like, right, I best fucking crack on then. And before you know it, like time's gone like that, and you feel really good, and you've had a great day, and you already going to train. Like, so yeah, like the deload was good. Spent some time with my family. Went home, had a night at home. We went to Matlock Bath on Saturday. Went home, which is like near Donny, Saturday night. Made the Thai food with my dad, which was good.
Yeah, Finn spoke about this Thai food multiple times. I need an invite to this Thai meal, and I need to come around and just observe.
It was class.
Yeah.
Had a nice night with my mum and dad. And to be fair, we didn't watch TV or anything. We were just chatting like about old times and like catching up and stuff. Like obviously, I quite like whenever, because again, I don't see my mum and dad that much. So when I do, like I try and like ask them about like them growing up and stuff, because like you never really. Like, I never cared growing up. Like, you know what I mean? If my mum would show me a photo of her as a kid, I'd be like, yeah. Whereas now I'm like, that's pretty cool. Like, you know, it's cool to see, and like what they did when they were growing up. Oh, mate, yeah, I would.
Would you?
Yeah, I would now.
Really?
I have, yeah.
Okay.
I did. Saturday night. That's why I was there,
yeah. No wonder I'm not
Shannon fancies
around.
my dad, so they slept together, and it was me and my mum,
yeah, fair enough. Nice for Shannon to get some action.
Yeah, she loves it, yeah. I was like, go on, Dad, take on to the team. It's still not working. No, it works fine now, guys. I'll come on to that. So,
only with my mum.
So yeah, it doesn't work with Shannon. I'm abusive to her. So Sunday, I said to my mum, like, right, the plan was we'll go somewhere together, me, Shannon, my mum and dad.
Yeah.
We'll get some lunch or something, and like on the way between like us going home, because I wanted to get back for the United game.
Yeah.
So we went to Matlock, and I was like, we've just been to Matlock Bath. Matlock's like 10 minutes further. It's the same kind of thing, but it was probably nicer. Went out. We went to this like Mad Hatter's coffee place. And it was fucking horrible. Like it was busy.
What, the coffee
and kids.
Or just,
the coffee was sound, but like loads of kids. And it was just loud, and we were like, just drink the coffee and get gone, or drink the Guinness for my dad, because he's a bloke. I'm not a bloke. I let him down every day. Having my what did I get? I got a decaf coffee with coconut milk. And I could just tell he wanted to disown me.
Yeah.
He literally just
did he say? Did he go up to the bar and go, "Get a beer, son"?
He just looked at me like, "I hate you." Yeah. And I was like, "Sorry, Dad. I'm sorry that this is what I am. This is who I am. I'm a they." And then
same as your sister.
Yeah, we went out for lunch at like somewhere kind of on the way back, which was decent. It wasn't great. Just got like a Sunday roast, but it was all right. And then me and Shannon got a Nando's that night.
Two off plans in one day.
I got half a chicken. I got half a chicken because I just fancied it. I literally got half a chicken.
I've never had half a chicken or even a quarter. I've never done anything like that.
Mate, it was really good. Half a chicken, corn, and broccoli. Literally like a protein meal.
How much protein's in a half a chicken?
80 grams.
Okay.
And like the roast dinner I didn't get a lot, and I had a shake in the morning, so it was like I need more protein, so that's why I had that. And I woke up 3 pounds down after the deload, which is expected. So I'm a bit flatter and everything. But yeah, and then I was going to say last bit on me, and then I did my Medichecks on Monday morning.
Took you like multiple times.
So, yeah, well, mate, like I've done it loads and it's always been fine. 1 or 2 times it's been a bit more difficult, but because it's so cold, obviously this time of year, it took me like the 3rd attempt, and I was there for literally like 10 minutes, like really trying to force it out was annoying. You're supposed to not squeeze your finger that hard. I was like, well, it's not going to happen otherwise.
I can't do finger pricks. I remember I think I said this on the podcast, where I did my like blood glucose at I say school, it wasn't. It was
and it's like,
and the woman literally was like, my lecturer, I can't remember her name. She was lovely as well. She came up to me because I was like, I can't do it. It's because I got calluses on my fingers. When I used to train, I for some reason my fingers tips of my fingers would peel.
Yeah.
So I've got really like firm skin there. And she was like stabbing. She must have stabbed me like 20 times and like around everywhere, and she was like literally milking me in front of the class, and I was like, there's nothing coming out. I was like, and we got maybe 2 droplets, and she was like, I've never seen that. And then I was like, sound like, sorry, like not a lot I can do.
Yeah.
So
it is like,
some people it's a bit more, for me it's always a tricky one. That's why I just go and get it done.
Yeah, like I said, I got like a full spectrum done last time. That was when we spoke about it on the podcast. So I went and got that intravenous because it's going to be better.
Yeah.
But with this one, it's like testosterone and a few other bits because I don't need a full spectrum.
It would literally be like test, estrogen, LH, FSH,
and then
prolactin.
It's and a few vitamins. It's like just to see where like vitamin D and things are at.
Okay.
Like I quite like to see that because I have had it before where my vitamin D's been high, so I've like reduced the supplementation, but I never noticed any negative effects from it.
PDs potentially pull down vitamin D.
Yeah,
which is actually quite a weird one because you wouldn't think about the mechanisms of it, but you excrete vitamin D. Like an enhanced steroid user will have lower vitamin D levels most of the time.
How much vitamin D do you take?
10,000 I use daily.
Yeah. It's a decent amount, that.
Yeah, it's a good amount. It fucking costs a lot for what it is. What do you take?
I think mine's 4,000 IU.
Doubling.
Has yours got K2 in it as well or not? Because you won't absorb any if it's not got
K2. It's not got K2. Oh, shit.
Also, do you go out and get walks in the daylight?
I did this morning, but I've been on the treadmill. So
no. Oh, have you?
Yeah.
No wonder you look like shit.
I imagine. I
knew you weren't making any progress.
None of that. You don't know that K2, bro.
God.
So that's you. For me, I've been, like I said, my deload finished up last week, so I deloaded a little bit earlier. I didn't do any devolume sessions prior. I was back in the gym Wednesday. I did Friday and Saturday, built my food up. We've done the Reese Fit protocol, Finn called it, of adding a shake in the morning. And
well, you said yours is by your bedside and you down it as soon as you wake up. You told me I don't do that. No, I just get up and go and make it.
It's because I don't go downstairs when I like, and also Sam, this is clip 2.
He's supposed to do the clap after.
Oh, fuck.
Go on, you can do it again.
Sam, this is clip 2. Right, so I don't have it straight away, but I have it next to my bed. I don't go downstairs to the kitchen, and I'd rather just have it like, no, it's not that. It's literally I just have a glass of water next to it. And then what I do is I just put the whey in my mouth, put the glass of water there, like swirl it round and then nail it. Yeah. But no, I've added a shake in the mornings for no other rationale than, it's actually quite funny, I got an email from J3U that said you don't need 400 grams of protein a day. It was on the same day that I did it, and I was like, that's really strange.
Yours is like 380 so.
No. It's it's literally like 396.
Yeah, you don't need 400.
Yeah, so I don't need 400 grams. 396 will be doing. It was really weird that it came through. Honestly, I'll show you it later.
Yeah, but we know that you don't need a lot.
You don't need. There's not going to be a massive benefit from just having X amount of protein. So currently my macros are like, I think it's 398 for protein, carbs at like 625 training days, and fats at 50. Non-training days, I've been pretty much bringing up my food. I've been adding like 50 carb and then just assessing because I've been like reversing food up. Body weight's been like flying up pretty much, which is actually like quite a surprise, but it's not really based off how things are. I'll get into this in a short while. But regardless, protein-wise, a lot of times when you speak to, like, if we're looking upon studies, I don't think there's a benefit to having more than probably, for the average individual, if you're 200 pounds, like anywhere, like 250s max, you probably need. You don't need more than that in most cases.
1.5 grams per pound of lean mass. Yeah. So I'll like estimate someone's lean body mass and do 1.5. So for like most people, that places you anywhere between like high 100s for somebody who's quite small to like mid to high 200s for somebody who's a bit bigger.
Yeah. Like I was on stage at 220, so like if we're going off that, like 270, 280 would be fine, but that's complete sources.
Maybe like
maybe 300.
If I was coaching you, I'd have you on like probably above 300.
Yeah, I always
with
have,
you being enhanced as well.
Yeah, my protein has always been like peak off season.
My protein, using my protein still?
Never, mate. No chance. Actually,
what way are you using?
Conte.
Whoa!
Don't do that again. Don't do that again. Almost got me, bro. So yeah, basically I've been doing protein at like, my baseline's always like 310 to 320, but then also with how high my carbs get, like a lot of that turns into where it's like you're having foods that have
trace.
trace. So I wanted to have my protein a touch higher. So I thought, especially coming out of a deficit, if we think about, let's say, just calories in general, you're not going to be holding water from carbs, and especially when you're utilizing things like insulin, growth hormone, water retention is going to be pretty easy anyway. So keeping that to a little bit of a lesser degree, having protein a bit higher, it means that like even though my carbs are only at 625, like my overall calories would be the same as if I had my carbs at 725, because I've had an extra pretty much like it's 80 grams of protein. There's like 100 grams total. Let's say we're working off that. So it's like, right, protein a bit higher. In reality, again, going off studies, going off the vast majority of cases, it's not going to be an absolute game changer. But I just want to kind of experiment and see. And also,
I always say as well,
you see bigger people and they have loads of protein.
I'll say to clients, like, if you can eat more and it doesn't cause any digestive issues, I don't really mind. So I have some clients who are eating a lot of protein
wise.
Yeah. Because they just enjoy it. Like, I have clients who their protein's at like 300 grams, and I'll say like, right, we don't need this much. No. You'd probably be better off with more carbs. Yeah. But what are your bowel movements like? How consistent are they, etc. And like, I go like once or twice a day, and they're sound. Like, I feel really good. I like having more protein. Yeah. Okay, I don't mind. And there's people as well, like they're not having 200 grams in one meal. No. Like they're probably having 6 meals. Yeah. And they're probably having 6 meals of, let's say, 50 grams or so each. And it's like, okay, like I don't really mind that. Like, again, you'd probably be better off. Like, this isn't somebody who's like 140 pounds. These are usually people who are, let's say, high 100s, mid to low 200s, or somebody who's really tall. Like, you know, like that's fine. Yeah, if you enjoy it, go for it. But then you also have the people on the other side who are like, I need loads of protein, and then their digestion's all over the place. Their meal timings and the routine's horrendous. Meal timings are awful.
They get their food up to 700 carb, and they're like, I'm so full.
Can't do it.
Yeah, and like, let's say, for example, with how high my food will get to on this push, if it is a case where I'm noticing, oh God, I'm up to 800 carb and I can't get any more, and when usually I can get in 950,
just pull your protein down,
then I can just pull it down and I'll be fine. So it's one of those where I'm just experimenting for a bit of time, and I think nowadays, unfortunately, we live in a world where social media is so prevalent, everything's by the book, and there's not a case where many people like trial and error. And it's the same with like so for example, you've got your PDs. Okay, you follow John Jewett, which was the black formula that he created,
or Joe Jeffrey,
Joe Jeffrey, which was again black, like so Victor Black. You then look at, let's say, nutrition, and it's like, okay, I'm just going to follow, I don't know, some like what the general kind of passing downs from
just general studies from people like anybody that does it. Like,
you just read upon our protein X amount per kilo of lean body weight.
I'm trying to think who does
training. You look at JP and stuff like that, and you literally, the only thing you go off is
his name, like Eukendrup, something like that. I think he does a lot in terms of nutrition, sports nutrition.
Yeah, but regardless, you look at that.
JEU. That guy. Okay. JEU Eukendrup or something.
And then you look at training and it's like, do JP or listen to Joe Jeffrey and do length and partials and do like escalating period blocks.
I think like training wise, I'd say it's more at the minute people like Coach Kassim and people like, what's his name? What's that guy's name? Pete? His name's Lift Run.
No, it's not Pete Rubish. Not Pete Rubish. Who's Pete Rubish? Who's that? Pete Rubish is a powerlifter, I'm pretty sure.
Let me have a look.
Lift
Run Bang. Actual name.
Lift Run Bang 1 or something like that.
That's his name. That's his
person with the best number 1 on their name is Joe. Is it Jay Freaky? Jay Freaky 1?
Nah, it's Josh Jenkins. Paul Carter.
Not
Pete.
Yeah. Who's Pete Rubish? I don't know who that is.
Pete who?
Pete Rubish. I'm pretty sure he's a powerlifter. I don't know why I have his name in my head.
101. Yeah, he is.
He is a powerlifter. Why the hell do I know that? So people listen, and no one actually is like, I feel like a lot of times nowadays, no one really likes to experiment, and you end up just getting bottlenecked by the same information available. And I think it will actually result in the quality of a lot of individuals being the standard, the base layer being higher, but the actual ceiling probably being lower, because in 10 years from now, we're going to be preaching completely different things based off new information available, anecdotal kind of studies. So yeah, protein's higher, seeing how that goes. When it comes to body weight, I've been reversing food up, and it's quite funny because throughout the deload, I was like dropping off weight, which is expected during a deload. I was running non-train day food, and then literally I gained I've trained with Jacob Dalata from Be Modified, and I weigh myself in the evenings, even though we shouldn't, according to Progress Works,
whatever his name is, Neil.
We shouldn't weigh ourselves in the evening. Finn mentioned when he was prepping, he was like, so I weighed myself last night. He was like, you weighed yourself last night? You do not do that. You do not. And Finn was like, Mate, I weigh myself in the morning. You should never weigh yourself at night.
I weigh myself every morning. I just was checking last night as well.
Yeah.
You shouldn't do that in the mornings. I was like, I do. And he's like, yeah, but don't do it in the evening. Okay.
All right, so thank you. So, yeah, I weighed myself in the evening after legs. And on the Friday, I put back in Lantus, just 15 IU. And then I also escalated GH up from 2 to 4 IUs. So 2 storage hormones. And, like, I weighed in, like, after training legs in that evening.
And you binged on cookies as well.
Tonight I wasn't here, so I didn't binge on cookies.
Oh,
no, I didn't binge
only when Tonight is here.
Yeah, only when Tonight is here. She force feeds me. Yeah, and I just amount to peer pressure. And I literally weighed in like 2.5 kilos heavier, and I was like, huh? What? Like, fair enough. Like, granted, I hadn't trained upper or lower, so those were the 2 first full volume sessions, and the lower session with Jacob is brutal. It's really, really hard. So I was like, okay, that's a bit strange. And I weighed in the following day like 2 kilos up. And I was like, okay, sound, like rest day food, did literally like my usual rest day food at that point was like 300 carb, like 60 fat, and then like 3, this was before I added the shake, so like 310 protein. And then the next day I was like a kilo up again, and I was like, that's the first rest day that I've not, like, I've just gained, like, I haven't gained weight on a rest day this year. And I was like, okay, fair enough, weird. And then the following day, I was like, right, training day, that's when I added the shake protocol. And then I was like, I'm bumping up my food anyway. I'm like, because I've needed to like bump my food to get myself into actual a surplus. And I was like, another kilo up. And then the following day I was like 0.7. And I was like, okay, sound like.
So what is your weight now compared to the end of the?
Oh no, so my lowest I got to 100 and I saw 111.9.
Now you're 140.
140. Yeah, 135 kilos in 8 days. No, so I think I was 116.8 this morning. So but I was after I finished the deload. So a week ago I was like 112.8. So it's not like it's loads. It's 4 kilos. Which once that's like, if you think about, if I was to take out insulin growth hormone, I probably would trickle down 3 kilos.
It's all just fake weight.
It is. It's artificial cosmetic weight, and it's like, it's funny because like I was posing yesterday. I was like, fucking hell, I look so round. But then also like you can just see like more water.
Watery,
yeah, like you can just see water, and it's like, it's the one, like I always dislike when people say, oh, PEDs, you know, I gained this amount of weight, because it's not muscle. You're not gained any muscle, but like it is very artificial, because like if it was a natty who had gained 4 kilos in a week, you'd be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah,
but it's like
10 pounds up. Like.
Yeah, you'd be like, that's a bit stupid. But it's almost like this sort of psychological thing. You got to play with yourself and think, it's not the end. It's not like yourself. Yeah, you got to play with yourself. But it's just like you got to take it and go, it's what it is. But it's a bit of a head fuck, because you've gone from being so flat and like being very aggressive in a diet to being like, right, I've put on the weight that it took me 2 weeks to pull off.
You think it's gone too quick, but then if you're looking good and feeling good,
and it's like,
don't worry about it.
Yeah, it is what it is. So, and realistically, like,
it's not as if you need to be worrying about your weight now and you're not on stage anytime soon.
No, definitely not. And like at the same time as well, it's one of those where I'm gonna have to get fatter than where I am. Like, and as cool as it is, like I was saying to a guy who came up to me in the gym yesterday, commented on my calves, and he was like, calves are peeled, bro. He's like, you're pushing up now. And he was like, your legs look really cool, like how they look. And I was like, it's cool, but like, it's not going to be beneficial to be like, I can progress well now, yes. But if I need to be a bigger bodybuilder, which I do, I need to spend time at heavier body weights. And unfortunately, there's probably going to be a case this year where I'm going to be 130-ish kilos. I'm going to probably not feel very good. I'm not going to look amazing, but it's going to have benefit to when I actually pull down and I've kind of pushed up my lean amount of muscle. I've pushed up just in general, especially as being in like within a bodybuilding realm of being bigger, you do have to spend times at heavier body weight to leverage more out of it. So
it's just time. It's not even like necessarily
I don't think it's
time
getting
like
just
much heavier. It's just time in a slight surplus, time spent in a slight sort of position of just focusing on growth and not trying to diet. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Whether that means that you put on 30 kilos
in
this next phase or you put on 15,
like
you're still going to make a load of progress.
Exactly, yeah. So, yeah, main plan now is just, like, ideally, like, the rate of gain will definitely slow down because my food's really not that high. And it's like, I'm not skewing it into a positive from a negative because it's not a negative, but it's like, right, I've gained this much weight. I feel really good. Like, when I was at this weight before, it was like, I could tell I was feeling heavy. And, like, because I've been doing cardio, my steps have been, like, in a really good groove. I'm like, okay, the fact that I'm here now, my food isn't even that high. Like, it's 4,500 calories. I'm like, sick, wicked. This will be where I was at this point on the push-up initially post-prep. My food was like 1,000 extra calories. I knew I was feeling like a lot like heavier. I was looking worse. So I'm like, sick, right. I've probably now got leverage from when I was at maxed out at 125, like softer. I now can probably get to 127, 128, 129, 130. And then that's again time spent that I can just leverage more progress.
That is literally
It's what it's
all
about.
this is, isn't it?
Yeah,
like
it's literally just
like,
come back, go down, get a bit more responsive, push back up.
You're not really as responsive, and you maybe look a bit worse, and you're a bit sluggish.
Yeah,
diet quickly.
Yeah,
go again.
Yeah,
but what I think people forget, or what I think people think that means, is, oh, I should be like doing it every few months. Like no. You. How long was your gaining phase?
8 months.
Yeah, and that's not that long.
That's enhanced. Like if that was natural, I'd be saying push that up to a year.
Yeah,
like
I almost say to most of my clients, I'd be like that. At least 9 months in every gaining phase. 9 to 3 for lifestyle clients who want to get leaner for holidays. Yeah. So 9 months gaining, 3 months dieting. Yeah. Like that.
Mine wasn't 3 months. Mine was 6 weeks.
Yeah, let's say. But again, if it's a lifestyle client, they're probably not going to be as switched on as you and get it done in that short period of time.
And also psychopathic, just saying, oh yeah, let me just have carbs pre-workout.
Yeah, exactly. But
do it, brother.
For competitive clients, I'd be looking at least ideally 18-month gaining phases, then with maybe a mini cut, then another however long, depends on how much more muscle they need. But yeah, I think then people think oh, that's so long, or they sort of then think that 18 months is gaining let's say a kilo a week. It's no, that's not what you want. That's way too quick. If it's 18 months, you're gaining maybe a kilo a month. 18 kilos in 18 months, that's going to be a very productive gaining phase. It doesn't need to be 50 kilos.
No, the intent. I think we've always said the intensity in a gaining phase is not important. The effort of long time and spent in duration.
Training. It's just what have you got enough fuel to perform well and recover well? And if you have, then that's what you need. You don't need to be gaining faster than that.
No, definitely not. But again, it's it's one of those sort of harsh realities that you have to get to a point, and it's sometimes if I was going off social media, if I was going off just feeling good, looking good, I wouldn't be pushing up to I'd just stay at probably leaner. I'd be leaner than I am now, because I find that sport really easy. I look really good. I train still really well. And if I didn't have competitive goals, 100%, I'd stay pretty lean. I'd eat 4,000 calories on training days, probably 2,500 to 3,000 on non-training days. So I train good, feel good. I do cardio when I fancied. But unfortunately, and it's one of those, I say unfortunately, I do it because I want to fucking do it. Yeah. It's not where I'm I've got to push up. I'm doing this out of choice. If I didn't want to do it, I wouldn't do it. But additionally to that, you almost at times have to kind of think, even though this spot is right now, I feel probably the best I felt. I'd honestly say even because obviously I prepped last year, probably since 2022, 2021. But unfortunately, it's it's not really in line with where my goals are going to be. Matter. So it's all right, cool, suck it up, enjoy it. But in a month or two, I know that I'm probably going to be eating a hell of a lot of food. I'm going to look at photos of my face and go, Jesus Christ, I look like a fat mess. Okay. And it's just going to be one of those sort of things you have to embrace.
But again, in a month or two, you're not going to be back up to peak weight.
No.
It'll be probably in another 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
Where you've then had another really productive gaining phase.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people think. They almost yo-yo between it, and they're oh, I've gained a bit too quickly. I think, should I diet for this holiday or for this? It's well, no, you just need to spend longer in
and solidify.
A productive position.
You can solidify. If let's say, for example, you fuck up. Let's say you're an individual who's done a reset phase or a diet or whatever, and you fucked up the first week or two. Let's say you've ate a bit of shit, and you're a bit of let's say weight up. Just spend time sitting at that weight, and you'll solidify it. Right now, for example, as good as I look at myself and think, oh, I look really full, I look really round. Even though it's been a pretty rapid weight increase, if I was to hold this position now for 2 months, a month, I don't need to, but if I was, you'd solidify it, you'd grow into it, you'd almost mature that sort of look. But if anything, a lot of people, like I said, yo-yo, but their yo-yos are so aggressive on the way up that it's they don't even solidify a weight.
Yeah, and I think if you've got,
it's not scale weight building.
If you're trying to hold body weight, and you're not in a good spot.
Yeah.
So let's say post show you maybe put on, let's say in the first month you put on another 10 pounds than you wanted to or something like that, and then you're oh, I should hold.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't. You probably should just stop overeating and slow it right down. But then let's say, for example, myself now, I'm feeling really good. My body weight's low 180s. I could probably hold here for the next 3 months and still make progress. I won't make as much progress as if I went up to, let's say, 185 in the next 3 months.
Yeah.
But I could still feel good, and the look would actually just get better.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't be in as good a position if I just maintained, but I wouldn't be losing muscle. I wouldn't be in a bad position. No. It'd just be a case of I've looked back over my monthly averages and I'm still 180 or I'm still 182 or whatever it is, and I've been that for the last 2-3 months.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't even realise. I'd just be oh, I probably should be eating more. You know what I mean? I would realise, but like I wouldn't realise it in terms of how I feel.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be like, oh my God, my body weight's maintaining. I must need more food.
You don't think that it's the other way around nowadays, where you almost think like, I'm not really gaining weight, but then you actually look at your averages, you are.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it never works the other way round. It's always where like you'll hear somebody, the amount of times that I'll have a client, I'll see their weight and I'm like, okay, 100, let's say 82 pounds, like similar weight to you. And I'll go, oh, they've been 182 pounds like ages now. Maybe they were in time for a food bump. But I look, I'm like, oh, they were 175 6 weeks ago. Yeah. And it's like, okay, they're fine. But you in your head, when a rate of gain is slower and you see someone or you see yourself and every day you're seeing the same sort of number, you could hit 182 8 days ago, but then your average is at 179, 180. But then when you get back to 182 on average,
you think,
you're like, I'm still 182. What the hell?
But your average has gone up like half a pound a week for 6 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah,
I think that people do forget that. I always just go off I don't really like care what people's body weight is on a daily basis. It's really irrelevant. Like I look at the weekly average. And then even then, like I'll say to clients, like, because you'll have a week where they'll go, oh, I lost weight this week. They're 0.1 down, but last week they were 2 pounds up.
Yeah.
I'll go, yeah, you might have lost weight this week, but across the month you're still 3 pounds up, which is plenty. Like, so yeah, this week you're down slightly because you've not overeaten or you've not, whatever it may be, you've maybe, let's say had a deload or whatever. That doesn't mean that, we just need more food.
It's overestimation of, like, overall, like, how quick you can put on muscle mass as well.
Exactly.
Like, a lot of the times, like, we'll always say, like, the time spent building body weight up, you're not going to be adding muscle during that point constantly. It's probably going to be when you get to peak body weight, you hold, and then you can train really well. That's when you solidify and add
you're
muscle.
Gaining really slowly.
Yeah. But the rate of gain is
to build muscle is
minimal,
very, very small.
Minimal, far less than what people
like
think.
The body fat level that you need to be, for most people, maybe to be in that productive position is maybe a little bit higher.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
exactly.
The actual surplus itself and the rate of gain can be really, really slow.
Yeah.
But getting into that position, like again, if you're, let's say, coming out of a contest prep and you're trying to then be like, oh, I'm in a position now to gain really, really slowly, I'm going to make loads of progress from here. It's like, well, you probably need that initial bump up.
Yeah.
And then you're in a better spot. Like me now, if I was to try and stay like 10 pounds lighter than this, I'd probably feel shit.
Yes.
Like that's like low 170s.
Yeah.
Whereas like I know, like based on previous data and everything, like I know for me, like pretty much like from high 170s, 180 upwards, I feel really good. Yeah. I could stay in this body fat like level for the foreseeable. You know what I mean, and be absolutely sound.
Yeah.
But like trying to get, let's say, to sub 170, that's like fucking. I'm having to dig a bit now.
Yeah.
Like I competed in men's physique at 170.
Yeah.
Like that, I was lean. You know, like pretty, like very lean. But like now at low 180s, I feel great.
Yeah.
And I've got plenty of food. I've got plenty of energy. Like I don't need to be 190 in the next month, and then 200, and then 210, and 220. I've done that before.
You did it before. You did it before, but it was over still again a long time.
Oh, mate, it was over a long time.
It wasn't like you've done it before, and you were like, I did it before. Where I was like, no, it took you ages.
Yeah,
like,
and likelihood is I will get very heavy again, but it's just really long. Like
250.
Yeah, of course. I've told myself I've got to get there. But no, like I'll probably get to 200 in the next, let's say, year. Yeah. Maybe slightly less than that.
Yeah,
like,
I'd say so. I'd say like
6 to 9 months.
Yeah. Come like September, back end, like, where shows are like starting to like peak finals. I'd imagine you'd be 20 pounds up by then.
Yeah, maybe. And then
especially if
I might pull back.
Clients do really well.
Just going out for meals.
Yeah, being like, oh, you've won, so let's go for a 5, guys.
Yeah. Pull back to probably this again, 180 would be a lot better.
Yeah.
Go again. Pull back, go again. Like I think for me, realistically, it'll be this off season. I'll stay within that probably 180 to maybe 210.
Yeah, for the vast majority. Spend a little bit of time, maybe slightly higher,
push up, pull back down, push up, pull. And I say push up, pull back down as if I'm going to do it a lot. It might be that I do that 2 or 3 times, and I spend each time 9 to 12-ish months pushing up, and then I pull back down in, like, let's say, 1 to 2 months. I
was like around 220 on stage, and I got down to my lowest was like 241. And then and we both said when I was at that weight the first time, you're like, yeah, this is a responsive sort of weight. Get to this point again, go again. And then my heaviest was like 275. So it was like 275, pull down to 240. That's like 20 pounds up. Probably a bit leaner than when I was last there. Push back up, get to, let's say, maybe 285, pull down.
You can tell as well, though, like when you're not as responsive, and like things like if you think like your diet when you were pushing like you to your heaviest,
mate,
like
yeah,
you were
it was-
having to add in like shit food and
Yeah.
just didn't feel good for it.
no,
And it's like
nutrient quality was shy.
maybe you do
like,
that for like again just to get to
a couple
that
weeks,
like new
a
weight.
a
and,
peak period, just to be like, right, I'm going to max what I can do. But I feel like, especially when it comes to things like insulin sensitivity, like general, like again, how you feel,
sleep
like
and general health.
yeah, like lethargy, stuff like that. Like there's a certain point where you start to end up like every time you add in that, oh, I'm going to have a cookie, or I'm going to have this, I'm going to have another
Feel
off plan,
worse.
I'm going to go for a Five Guys tonight just to get in the calories. You almost have like a certain amount of like, it's almost like you've almost got like a certain amount of ammo that you can kind of shoot off, and then eventually it's like you're out of ammo and you've got nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And if you, and this is again the unfortunate aspect, if you fucking shoot all your shots early on in an off season, congrats, like you're gonna struggle when you get to that point where you need to be doing stuff like that, if you even firstly get to that point, because you probably won't, because you'll have the mindset of, oh yeah, I'm in an off season now, I can eat off plan constantly, I can do this, I can do that. And it's like, you want to have some flexibility, yeah, but if you get to the point where you can't, like maxing out your food, if you get to 700, 800, 900 carb and your appetite's like starting to struggle, and often it's a case where there's a reason why it's starting to struggle, and it's because you've not been on it, you've not done things perfectly, or you haven't been able to get your food up that high because you're eating off plan too frequently, you're not keeping your expenditure up, you're not, let's say, optimizing digestion, your nutrient quality shit. Like if you're 600, let's say for you, for example, 560 carb, if you were having like, hey mate, I'm having 560 carb, but I've got 200 grams of cereal, loads of jam, like loads of bagels.
We were chatting in the gym earlier, weren't we?
Yeah,
I was like,
that's not ideal.
before my deload, like my appetite wasn't great. It wasn't bad, but I could tell like my body weight was going up quite quickly. Like I was weighing in like a pound heavier like every day. I got up to like 184, and I was like just having my normal food, and I was like, but I could tell I was having my cereal post workout, and then by the time it was like 3 hours later to eat my oats, I was like, fucking hell, I don't want to eat my oats. Like, but I'd still have them because it's like, it's just my meal plan, I'm gonna have it. But like I knew I was going to be heavier. I was like, I can tell I'm just going to be heavier. Like I don't feel like I'm digesting my food very well. My bowel movements are really inconsistent. So I was like, right, that's another sign that I do just need to pull back. And then I also was like, right, it's probably a sign I need to look at my diet as well. My diet was really good. Like that was literally the only foods that I would class as, let's say, not high quality was I was having cereal post workout, and I was having one bagel with a bit of jam pre workout. But other than that, it was literally, like I was saying to you earlier, like protein sources, chicken breast, whey, beef, salmon, eggs, carb sources, again, yogurt in the morning, fruit, I have loads of fruit in my diet, veg, rice, cereal, oats. And then fats were like dark chocolate, nut butter, again, salmon, beef, egg yolks. So
And
I
a
literally,
really big burrito from
and a big burrito on a Friday night. But then I took out the cereal, changed it to a chicken and rice meal, took out the bagel, just added in more fruit. So like literally now I don't have any food that you would class as, let's say, that isn't a whole food in my diet at all. And like my appetite has gone through the roof. Like I'll finish my post-workout meal and an hour later I'm like, I could probably eat again. Whereas like before I was like, I felt like the cereal just sort of sat in my stomach, which makes sense. Like it's not as good quality food. Like generally it's just a bit more sickly than a chicken and rice meal. So yeah, I feel really good for making those changes. And obviously adding in the shake in the morning.
Yeah, the
done that one day.
The Refit program. You're going to be massive tomorrow.
Well, in all seriousness, the Conte Repair, the vanilla, and the salted caramel.
Salted caramel's really good.
They are
like,
banging.
Yeah,
I
really,
thought
really
with like vanilla, I was like, there's nothing that'll be better
Have
than
you
that.
had the caramel biscuit?
Yeah.
I'm being sent that. No.
I've smelt it, and I was like,
I'm
I
being
don't think
sent
I want
that
it.
for when my stuff comes like in a week or
I'll try it.
in the next few days.
I'll try it.
Yeah.
I think I was supposed to be getting a delivery. Oh no, I got a delivery the other day.
Yeah.
But I didn't get any whey because I have plenty of the salted caramel.
Yeah.
I have chocolate and
Salted caramel is lovely.
I have chocolate and caramel biscuit, pretty much full tubs. The chocolate's good.
Yeah.
I've not even tried the caramel biscuit because I smelt it and I was like, it reminds me of like something that I've not liked before.
Okay.
Cinnamon Danish. It doesn't. I'll try it. See what it's like one time, but not at the minute.
Fair enough. Sam, do you want to wrap it up? We'll get on to the questions, or are we doing the questions?
Should we do an Arnold's recap?
Sure.
Chat about the Arnold's and then we'll do a separate episode. Or should we do a separate episode for the Arnold's?
I think, if we do questions, then a separate episode for the Arnold's.
You want questions now on this? Two separates. I think that was a good episode.
I think that was a good episode. Let's leave it there. Guys, you want to listen
to
the questions?
Let us know when in the comments or message us, like, do you like longer videos? Do you like long length partials? Do you like long length content? Do you like medium length? Do you like short length? Shannon likes short length. She tells me all the time.
Really?
Yeah. She's like, don't worry, I like short length.
Which is
like,
fine.
all right, what about short, small girth as well? She's like, yeah, I love it, yeah. I'm like, she's lying.
Right,
So,
we'll leave it there.
Get us to 700 subs. would be nice. Please, guys. And we've just reached 850 Spotify followers.
Decent.
We ought to put Instagram followers on there as well.
Yeah,
we need to create a new one and make the logos smaller.
Okay.
And we'll add you. Follow us on Instagram if you're not already.
Follow us on Instagram.
We'll drop some more reels.
Yeah, apply for coaching, please. We need it, both of us. Apply for coaching.
Especially if Sam wants to spend all that money on a new podcast set.
We need a new podcast studio, guys. So anyone who wants to give us money through coaching, please. I'm joking, but we're kind of not. Yeah, that's that. Hopefully everyone's enjoyed. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.